Longami, and welcome back to the Longami podcast. And this is now episode, I believe, 49 now. And if you are brand new to the podcast itself, please make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel itself, and also follow us on all of our other socials on Instagram, on Spotify, TikTok, and also have a listen to us also on Apple Podcasts and also on Spotify. And as of always, let's get straight into it. Now, in this episode, I'm not going to be go long and rambling about just like last episode. So I will try and get through these team lists as quickly as possible compared to last episode. But anyways, enough rambling about. Let's get into the team lists for Team List Tuesday for both our NRL and our NRLW team. So pretty much, people, we are face up against South Sydney for the NRL team. Kickoff at 7:35 p.m. in round 23, playing in Indigenous round on a Saturday on the 8th of August on Super Saturday, and South Sydney are coming at 7th, representing as a Bidjigal and Gadigal people. Sorry if I butcher name. And obviously, as us representing as a Doric and Boromantigal people, as we are coming in 30th place. And we are coming in at a $3.11, and Souths are coming in at an $1.37. And we are playing obviously at Allianz Stadium. I forgot to say it's also the home of the Gadigal and Bidjigal peoples. And let's see the ends for our men's team. Now we got Jeziana Funa Luta coming in on the extended bench. Luca Moretti has finally come back from a concussion, and he will be starting at prop, which rotates Jack Williams on the back row with Kikat, and that's also drops Kelma Tulangi to the bench. As you can see, number 17, Riley Smith is still in the reserves. Number 22, Saxon Prykes has finally returned since Dylan Walker is officially out. The return date is to be confirmed. But to be honest, people, do we really need him to really come back and to really just start, since he isn't going to be here anymore? And for that, I think that we should keep Saxon Prykes in the side instead of just bringing back Dylan Walker, since it is obviously going to be very pointless for us to bring back Dylan Walker into the side on the bench. And Sean Russell is in for this week, and he will be in the reserves, as you can see over here, and obviously for a very good reason, since he won't be here next season, along with Tony Mattelli, which I don't even think he even played against the West Tigers, and Harris Edwards will be officially out. It doesn't really say on the NRL Casualty Ward site here, as Luca Moretti has obviously came back. Sean Russell has actually came back from a quad injury. Bailey Simpson, I do believe he is also playing in New South Wales Cup, and that's pretty much it. So we got most of our mid-injury players, and unfortunately, as much as I want to see Jermaine Hopgood play in the Indigenous jersey, he has other plans, hopping on the tools, as we like to call them now, hop tools, as he is working on his patio, I believe, for his daughter, and that for his family. I think he is working with some of his cousins, so good on him to be very active while being injured, which is a little bit interesting that he is injured with his ACL, and yet he is still able to hop on the tools. So is it something that the club is not telling us otherwise? Once again, they are continuing on to hide things like with Ryan Madison, and yeah, the club just, I don't know why they just keep on hiding these things from Ryan Madison. That we all knew that he was traveling to Europe, and he was still going to the gym, working out, and yet still getting paid like 700K for a year. And yet, look, I used to be a big fan of Ryan Madison, and I do believe he is a good person. Now, I don't know him personally outside of rugby league, nor I've met him in person, but I do believe that he is a good person. But as a player, yeah, I think ever since he has taken that fine from being suspended, I don't know what he has done something stupid, but ever since he's going that suspension fine back in 2023, I think before preseason was absolutely just stupid, and I think that's when his love for rugby league really went downhill. And look, I think he said something on his Instagram that I think he said that there's more to life than what rugby league really is. And I do get his message that so many rugby league players, and I'm not a junior rugby league player myself, but I can assure you that I have heard so many rugby league past legends on other podcasts saying that if they were to give their advice to up and coming rugby league players who think that they can play for over at the age of 30, well, then you have to have a plan, that you have to have a backup job after you have retired. And I think that's something that Jermaine Hopgood is trying to at least try and keep his mind with, which I do appreciate that. I mean, Jermaine Hopgood, like right now, he's like at the age of 27, and he's not that far off from reaching 30, and he is going to turn 28 next year. And look, man, like if he keeps on like having these injuries, and if Jason Rolls doesn't really like find the right spot for him, which I'm not too sure with, like trying to at least inject some young blood into Sam Tuivasa. I just have a bad feeling now since he is starting to take that route. I'm not saying that Jermaine Hopgood is becoming a diva where he's having that same crappy attitude as what Ryan Madison has. And yes, he hasn't been at his same good exact form as what he was back in 2023, but still, I won't be surprised if Jermaine Hopgood is not going to be in Jason Roll's future plans. And look, it's a real shame that Jermaine Hopgood has so much potential coming out from the Parent Panthers system. And yes, I know that he has grown up from the Hunter region, but we all seen his talent like at the same level as what Lindsay Smith is doing at the Parent Panthers at the moment. And look, I really do wish that he will find some form going into preseason next season, and hopefully that Jason Rolls can be able to find the right home that he can fully adapt to, and that he won't be able to just to make these slow ruck infringements and just throw these silly penalties that are going to spend him, and then what? Like if he doesn't get like up to date to his fitness, then pretty much all of these suspensions are just going to be completely pointless. So people like that, like this club just need to stop hiding secrets, and that's pretty much it. But anyways, people, back to the team list. Now it's pretty much just a few changes there, as I said. And look, we have a bad record against South Sydney, especially during Indigenous round. I mean, the last ever time that we beat South Sydney at Allianz Stadium was back in 2022. Now, last year, we should have beaten South Sydney, but as I did say in my review last year, we are highly deserved to lose since Jason Rolls was experimenting with Isaiah Aongi as a 5'8", and that obviously went to a complete dog crap. And hopefully, of course, Mitchell Moses being captain once again. I mean, I don't think that Jason Rolls can take the captaincy off from Mitchell Moses. But however, I do like the move that we are finally moving back Jack Williams at back row with Kikat. So maybe that can actually improve on Kikat's like attack there, and just getting much more support from Jack Williams. Even though he is not our captain, I do feel like that this is the right move, and hopefully that Luca Moretti coming back from a concussion injury, he finds some form as what he was doing against Manly, and I believe against Bulldogs, he was very good, I believe. And against the West Tigers, he was also very decent. Against the Dragons in multicultural round, he was very close to getting his first ever try, but instead he scored his first ever try, I think, against the Warriors. I could be wrong. It could be, I think it was either Manly or against the Warriors. But yes, he did one out, I think, during last week. And he was playing in a cup a couple of times, I think a few weeks before he had that concussion. And yeah, he's been like thrown all around, just playing at a lock, back row, off from the bench. And I believe that if Luca is going to find some form in the front row, I don't know if Talon Da Silva is the right move just to keep him there. Now, I do understand that Dylan Walker is out, but as our utility bench there, like maybe Saxon Pryke, maybe do something, but he hasn't really had that much game time during New South Wales Cup. So, like, what's the point of putting Saxon Pryke as our utility player when we obviously know that Riley Smith is fully fit and has won the cup side against the Penrith Panthers 2 weeks ago? I haven't really seen him played last week, and Saxon Pryke brings on a lot of good impacts. Obviously, we all know that his kick chases are absolutely just incredible. Him and Tony Martelli, who is unfortunately now the part of the club, but hopefully that Mitchell Moses can be able to just put the same amount of pressure as what he did against the Bulldogs, where Saxon Pryke was just hunting down like so many of the Bulldogs' top forwards, like Jacob Preston and so many more. And since we'll come up against Cameron Murray, David Fita, and Keelan Matungi, and also Brennan Smith, it's going to be a very tough game. You know, like we're coming up against a much more experienced forward pack with Cody Walker, Ashton Ward being a very good rookie playing at number 7, and you obviously got Jack Wyden, who was a very good try scorer. Taylor Duncan, very good there, and then you got the highest try scorer in NRL history, and come against Brian Kelly. Look, man, our errors from our last game were obviously shocking. I don't know what to expect attacking wise, but as long as we have Nathan Brown and Sam Moore as our 2 coaches surrounding Jason Rolls, then as I've been saying this for so many times, how the hell are we going to improve on our attack and in our defense when we have these 2 absolute clowns surrounding Jason Rolls that they can't even improve on what Isaiah Iongi is trying to do with the talent that he has. And poor Brian Kelly, who is putting the effort week by week, that there's nothing more or nothing much that he can really do. So he's got a very tough task to stop the highest try scorer at the moment. And then you got Will Penasini come up against a back row there, which hopefully that Will Penasini. Yes, we have a very poor record against South Sydney, and yes, it's going to be a very tough game. And how do we win this? All right. So as I said, I feel like that Mitchell Moses, he needs to play the exact same way as what we did against the Canberra Bankstown Bulldogs. And look, with our 2 young forwards, I know that Sam Tuivasa is pretty big, but Luca Moretti, I think he is big. I mean, compared to Keelan Matungi, who has more experience, but isn't really the greatest prop. But both of them are transitioning from a back row. So, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting competition. And then you got, Sam Tuivasa, who has the strength, and he did have a little bit of a injury concern against the West Tigers during mid game. So hopefully that won't really affect his form coming up against Tavita Tola, who still has been consistently been going great. I haven't really been watching South Sydney forwards that closely, to be honest. But we all know that Brennan Smith has been a little bit of a surprise packet compared to how Talon Da Silva, where he is apparently our highest try scorer, and yet he is our highest missed tackle player. That pretty much explains on the coaching style that is surrounding Jason Rolls. And I've been telling you people week by week, and yet people say that, oh, why are you just rambling about this whole negativity bullcrap? You're just in it just to get it for the views. You don't know nothing about footy. Well, go and watch the game against his former side, and go and watch his fundamental errors. Also on a similar performance to how he did against the Bulldogs when we lost 14 to 12 at Accor Stadium. And yeah, you obviously got the big forwards here. I do expect us to offload the ball much more, maybe to get Brand Smith to fatigue him just much more faster, since their forwards are a little bit much more older than ours. So we really need to get Talon De Silva really just to ice his dummy half players. But we all know that he isn't going to be consistent with that. And as Jason Rolls said in the press conference after the West Tigers game, and NRL player is a consistent player. So he's saying that, but I still want to question, why is he starting Talon De Silva where he hasn't been consistent at all? If he hasn't been consistent at all, then just drop him, or either bring in Lachlan Collianakis from Jersey Flag, or just bring him in, or maybe bring in, or maybe hang on a sec, hang on. I don't think Lachlan Collianakis, or whatever his name is playing Jersey Flag. I think he's part of the SG board team. My bad. So I think whoever is available during the bloody New South Cup, which is obviously Riley Smith or either Jersey Flag, needs to come in. So I feel like that Townsend Silva this week should have been dropped to our New Source Cup, since we all know that Jason Rolls has the dignity to axe players where other fans don't really expect it to be coming. And I know that he is trying his best, but still, some of his team selections once again are just a little bit disappointing. And this is like the downside that is pretty much of our football club, because maybe like it's also pointless to put some certain players coming up from New South Cup and from Jersey Flag, like Tegan Brown and Saxon Price, because as I keep on repeating myself 1,000 times, Sam Moa and Nathan Brown are not the right coaches to improve into these players per performances. And we need to get the right coaches who is going to mentor this player. All right. We can't just get Jason Rolls just to mentor Isaiah Ongi's defense, and then he needs to mentor this player, and then other players on their defense. Like, I feel like that's maybe, yeah, it's just at the moment, just with a club just not going in the right direction, and having these two people upstairs just not having a single clue on what these fans want. I just don't know who is going to be the right defensive coach and also attacking coach on the market at the moment, because there aren't. Like, if you were to tell me one single great defensive and one single great attacking coach on the market right now, I will 100% ensure you that there are none. So yeah, I don't know where to really go, or to really just see on how we're going to improve this team. But it's just like we have to have like faith, and we just got to set a game plan without getting frustrated and without listening to the outside noise. And I feel like with the culture just being seriously just toxic at the moment, I feel like that the players' mindsets is being seriously corrupted with all these politics and rumors coming in, and just not be happy with showing the piss. I feel like that has really just taken the pedal off for some of these talented players and some of our superstars. And yes, sure, we are still missing that X factor player. Even if we're going to bring in a dummy half player that is gonna to come up against a much more experienced dummy half, knowing that if we can be able to consistently just make those good dummy half players, sorry, no, to consistently make those good dummy half plays that Talon Da Silva can do, then mate, it's pretty much game over. And then who do they have on the bench? South Sydney. They got bloody Shauna Kepi, who really isn't the greatest forward, but is at least mobile. Locken Harbner, who has been all right, but other than that, people they don't really have serious forward impact compared to how our bench is going. But that all comes down to with the forward pack being steered by Talon Da Silva, and the way that he steers the ship in the middle, it can be good and it can be crap. I'm pretty sure you'll know that meme where he says sometimes he's very good and sometimes very shit. Yeah, sorry for the language there, but yeah, that's pretty much the meme. If you know, you know. So yeah. But yeah, I don't expect us to at least compete with the team. We do need to start off fast, and if we do start the same time as what we did against them at Combank, where it was Moses' milestone game, and yes, it's not his milestone game, but he is still our captain. But the minute that Mitch Moses does get frustrated is the minute where he's just going to overthink things and also just going to rush things, and then he's just going to hesitate, and he's just not going to deal with the pressure that well, and then our backline players are just going to feel the pressure and the speed with AJ, and yeah, if Moses doesn't start fast, and if Talon Da Silva just doesn't help him out, then I feel like that's our game plan. Just having faith in these boys is just going to capitulate with these players just not getting used to the environment at Allianz. And since we haven't won there since 2022, where this team was in a whole different state, or I think it was 2023, sorry, then yeah, it's just going to be 13 plus, because the way that South Sydney are going at the moment, they aren't the same team as what they were from last year, where we were very close to our end of that curse. But this year, they are pretty much just trying to do it all for Jai, and we all know that Wayne Bennett is trying to have some unfinished business here. So I don't think that he is going to give out the record away against us. And yeah, it's going to be a very big challenge, and it will be impossible, in my opinion. But it all comes down to if Mitchell Moses does start fast, and also if Talon Da Silva can also help him out without making any stupid, simple, fundamental errors. But I don't see it happening because, as I said, people, Nathan Brown. So there's nothing really much for me to really say about this, people. And quickly go into my tips here. I'm going to say first try scorer. Unfortunately, I'm going to say Alex Johnson. Unfortunately, scoring against Brian Kelly, my anytime try scorer. And hopefully he will get over Josh Okar. I know that his performance against the West Tigers was his worst ever in a Parramatta jersey. But I do feel like going into Indigenous round, I feel like that with the energy and with the pride in his jersey, I don't think that he wants to let his family down, and I don't think he wants to let the fans down, and obviously the proud Indigenous culture of this club and the city of Parramatta itself down. So hopefully he can be able to deliver at Allianz this Saturday, and hopefully he will in that try scoring drought this weekend. But other than that, people, yes, South Sydney will win 13 plus at a half time. I'm gonna say 18 points, hopefully to 10. We could compete, and I'm gonna say 28 points to I'm going to say 28 points. I'm going to say this could be a high scoring match, but no, I'm going to say that South Sydney are going to win this by 34 points to 22. So that's my final score, and my man on the match, unfortunately, will be for South Sydney, probably Brandon Smith. But our best ever player that I do see us performing in this match, hopefully he will help the full pack going. Will obviously be by no surprise the Terminator himself, aka Jack Williams. I mean, you're seeing coming, and yeah, like just make him captain. Jason Rolls, like, is there like a rule where you can't take the captaincy off from Mitchell Moses and then just give it to our future captain, Jack Williams, since Mitchell Moses can't be able to deal with the frustration and with the high intensity pressure from his errors and from his quick decision thinking making skills individually as a leader. So yeah, like make it make sense. And yeah, that's all I need. That's all I need to say about our men's team. But let's get into our NRLW team here, people. Right, so before we go into the NRLW game, people, I do want to share uh, this article that I actually seen from Fox League. It says here, if you're not careful, Eels Grey's 5'8", uh, which is Brett Kenny, sends warning to former club over Luai signing. As Jerome Luai prepares to take on his future club this weekend, which has lost to. Earlier this month, the Tigers 5'8" confirmed he will link up with the Eels on a 1-year deal to partner Mitch Moses in 2027. And obviously, we will pay $700,000 of Luai's $1.2 million contract next year, or the Tigers will chip in 500,000. At the time, Eels general manager of football Mark O'Neill praised Luai, and he was signed to bring professionalism and consistency to the struggling club, which, yeah, that has came from Mark himself. Consistency, people. Is it really that consistent? Is it really? I mean, like he had a few like footworks, and yeah, he did actually like force I think he forced Mitchell Moses. Sorry, no, he actually made a smart move where Mitch Moses, during the West Tigers game, actually was trying to put in a grabber kick, and then Jerome Luai actually came in before Moses' boot actually hit the ball. He actually came in and touched the ball, which, yeah, sure, he can have some smart moments, and he can be a little bit how you going, and he can be like very pretty with his side step and just tapping on like he's dancing around. But Kenny has said that, however, told Fox Sports .com.au that he wouldn't have signed Luai for several reasons. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so Brett Kenny said he would have preferred their club gave the up and coming juniors a go first, not only to gain valuable experience, but to ensure they felt part of the club's long-term plans, which is obviously Lorenzo Talatina and obviously Leakin, Fletcher, and many more coming through. And obviously, Rolls has shoot down the criticism, which I haven't really had time to really see his press conference. But Kenny also says he is worried. Sorry, no. Well, he doesn't say, but this article also says that Kenny is worried the best young talent at Parramatta might look to other clubs if the Eels keep signing players like Luai and Jonah Pezzett to short-term deals. Which, as we all know, that's another concern. Like, it's not just him. Oh, it's on the short-term notice. Is that, well, if he actually goes pretty good, then there's going to be like other players saying that. Well, man, there's like great NRL superstar, a four-time premiership winner, 5'8", is going to be going to Papua New Guinea, where there's going to be a lot of superstars there, like like AJ, Zach Lomax, and many more. And it's pretty much also coming with a bonus, tax free. Like, who wouldn't really want to join without him? and that's like a huge concern with some of the Parramatta fans, seeing it's not only as a short term deal, but if he actually becomes very good, and if it does make us, and if it does get us to the finals, which will be very good for our forwards, we may be unlucky, and we may have just shown ourselves in the boot. If this does also not only get some of the forwards just confidence, but I also just see Jerome Luai with the influence to the other players in the junior system, just be able to join them when maybe just joining with Jerome Luai during training or maybe even preseason. So yeah, and I can see where Brett Kenny is coming from, and I do agree with him. But as I said in my view, and I don't want to say again, if it gets us to our finals, it's going to be very good for some of the players to finally find the form and to stay consistent on top of it, which it will give some of those players, as I mentioned before on the preview for the Rabbitohs and Eels game, that it will give other young players a greater mindset going into the year after, and then maybe in a great, fully uh, good, ideal mindset where there's no corruptions around their culture, just like this season, where a lot of our players were very unhappy with Johnny Pizzett, as from what I heard, and hopefully that they just don't get over influenced by Jerome Luai, and that he is going to attract players from our junior pathway system and maybe from our starting roster to bring them over to Papua New Guinea. And sure, I do agree with that. But I mean, again, if you look at the market, what other choice do we really have? I mean, Tom Dearden, I mean, Matt Burton. Like, do you really think that either Matt Burton and Tom Dearden wants to join with us? I mean, this was those type of like dumb deals where yes, sure, we are going for a short term. We are going for a short term deal, 2 years in a row, and yes, it's probably the most dumbest deal in our NRL history. Um, to see this, probably even dumber than how the Newcastle Knights spent $13 million on Dylan Brown, and look on how that is going. I mean, he's going to play finals of footy, which I do expect the Knights to play finals footy the way that their new coach has been just taking all of the rubbish that's Adam O'Brien has just taken that crap and just transitioning that into the Bulldogs attacking play, which, funny enough, they are actually not that far off from playing finals footy, and yet, although we have defeated the West Tigers, it still wasn't that pretty, and yet we have made so many errors, and we don't really fully deserve to win a game with the amount of possession and just with the amount of errors. And a quite interesting stat is that we are actually the first ever club in our NRL history. Oh, sorry. Not just in NRL history, but also in rugby league history to win 3 matches in a row by 3 points. One against the Raiders at home, one against the Cowboys in Golden Point, and then this recent one against the West Tigers. I mean, how funny is rugby league, people? I mean, I've never seen a record ever being broken like that. But that's the best that we can do. We can just break records. We breaking records in 2001, and we have scored the highest margin in our NRL history. Well, actually, now that's been broken by the Sydney Roosters quite recently, since the Roosters are now the first ever team to sorry, no, well, the Sydney Roosters are the first ever NRL team to hit 80 points. And no, I'm not. And no, I'm not. No, and no, I'm not. I'm not talking about uh, the New South Wales rugby league or the Win or the Winfield era. I mean, that was a complete era. Sorry, that was a complete different era. But to score something like that, not only in the NRL era, but also like in the fast paced era, the six again era, or whatever era you want to call it now. That's pretty much just the whole entire like norm. So it's, I mean, yeah, sure, like 80 points is like, oh wow, holy crap. Well, surely the Sydney Roosters are definitely going to make it to the grand final. But let's be honest. I mean, the reason why the Cowboys only conceded 82 points was because they have the worst defense in the competition. Hence why it was a very high score game when we played them. Us conceding 30 points, but then they can concede three more points than what they scored. So yeah, I don't think Cowboys going to play finals footy. I mean, they are in a good form, maybe. Who knows? To maybe win their next few games. But I'm probably just talking trash to people, and I'm going way off topic, and I'm going way off topic. So let's get back into this article as well. As he has said, look at the young bloke who was playing halfback for the Raiders, Ethan Sanders. I remember watching him play for Parramatta. And sure, like a lot of people have criticised the club for letting go Ethan Saunders or Sanders, whatever his last name has been pronounced. I do agree that that we should not let go Ethan Saunders. But I mean, with the culture that we were at with Bray Arthur, that was the club's fault once again for just not acting like too quickly, and the culture change was just completely just a crap. And yeah, I mean, to I see him debut, especially the way that his family was just super proud when I saw that video, that presentation video of his family being super proud that he was debuting against the Sea Eagles with with Dylan Brown still playing at halfback at the time in 2024. I really feel bad for him, man. Like, like it feels kind of like wrong the way that not only that we treated this a player, but also his parents. That his parents were super proud of him, and yet uh, we just turned his back on him, and the Canberra Raiders just offered just a much more better offer, and then off you go. Like it's just absolutely just disappointing that some of these like young these are young players like Josh Ling, Matthew Hunter, Dean Hawkins. I mean, I just feel like that we could have kept Dean Hawkins, and this whole Jonah Pezzett 1 year deal would have not happened in the first place. But I know we had to let him go, and yeah, it's just, man, this is our club, man. Like I do understand that. Yeah, I just don't get it with a Dean Hawkins. Uh, like him, uh, departing the club. I do understand his reasons, but man, oh man, man, I just cannot get my head around to why we departed Dina Hawkins like in the first place. And a lot of people were like saying like, especially talking para. I don't remember on the exact reasons why we let him go to the Super League. Maybe because like they were like that we were going to take some money just to buy a better 5'8", which it turned out to be a 1 year freaking deal, which we failed to use Jonah Pezzett properly, and yet here we are in an absolute crisis at the start of the at the start of this
of this rebuilding process, and yet on our second year, we have somehow managed to go miles backwards. And no, it is not because of our injuries. It's because no one at the club is doing such a damn thing about the culture and about the current roster, where some players aren't happy to train with that particular person that is just creating like the whole entire that is creating the whole entire like uh, be behind the scenes like completely just toxic. I mean, they were all disappointed with Zach Lomax to how he departed with things. They were all disappointed when Jonah Pizzett came to the club. And who else? Like I do believe that these these players also from what I heard are pleased that Jerome Luai is coming to the club, but if he does lead a accidental influence, then I believe that although this signing may seem good, it may seem too good that it will depart our current roster much more. And yet these two 1 year deals have just pulled apart this club's legacy just maybe for more than a decade. And then there's just no rebuild at all. We're just going even more backwards than what we were from 2022. So, like, Jim, Mark, what's the point of developing players when you're just taking risk? Look, I do get that this was our only option, but I mean, still, I am just hoping and I'm praying to God that this mistake, which yes, it was our only option to get a 5'8" like Jerome Luai, since our culture can't attract anybody on the market at the moment, and I feel like that our early mistakes are just coming back to bite both our Mark and our Jim up the arse, and de they fully deserve it on the way on how they treated Bray Arthur just being sacked at a crap time, especially Clinton Gutherson. And yeah, and I also like the way that they also treated Dylan Brown and his manager, and yeah, like it was just complete, just like crap. And my God, I just don't know on what this club actually wants to do anymore. If Mark O'Neill is just going to be pleased with the signs like Harrison Edwards and then Jerome Luai, which I still like the signing at the moment until uh, it can prove that it can actually be a benefit for our club and that it can benefit our players with their future developing skills to just to get this rebuilding process just keep on consistently just rolling on and just getting to that new era Parramatta team that we all ideally want and what the club needs to go to that next level to compete with our other rivalries, to compete with our other uh, uh, rivalries like the Parent Panthers, with the way that they had their plan to develop their young players like the Jerome Luai, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Liam Martin, Stephen Crichton, Moses Leota, James Fisher Harris, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, you people know on what I'm talking about, right? I mean, if we want to develop uh, these are players like we obviously need to keep them. And look, I do think that the only thing that this club is doing right is signing other young pathways players, which they are doing at the moment. But I mean, if these mistakes just keep on coming up, then it just proves that we were too late to start this rebuild, and that we have started this rebuild in a crap time. And some of those mistakes, like letting go D Hawkins, where we had something promising going towards the end of 2025, and yet we let go Footy Dean. Like, he has footy in his name, and yet, like, he did a very good job. I know that he was a little bit how you going at a 5'8", and in the other positions that Jason Rolls was putting him in. But people were like, as I said, like, I'm just hoping that these mistakes just don't bite this club back in the ass. But anyways, people, I am rambling on once again, and let's get back to the article. Luai was told by the Tigers he could entertain offers from rivals for 2027 just months after he informed the club he was moving to the Papua New Guinea Chiefs from 2028. His long-term footy future is with the Chiefs, not the Eels, and that's raised concerns about how committed Luai will be for the permanent cause. Okay, and that's true, but yeah, well, let's see on what he can give for only a year. Kenny is worried the Eels won't see the best of full-time premiership winner because he may have one eye on the Chiefs while wearing a Parramatta jersey. You got to look at what Luai's mindset might be. Kenny said, true. The following year, he's going to play for the Chiefs, and he's going to earn huge money because in that country you are paying. Sorry, no. Well, you are getting tax free, which yeah, that makes sense. So he's just pretty much just chilling at Parramatta, just no stress. He doesn't. He doesn't really care. He's trying to play in this bad culture, and yeah, like that's also another concern. Like, is it really committed to actually giving the experience and the confidence that our young players need? Is he actually committed to do half of his role to at least get us to play finals footy, uh, like how Jonah Peasant was signed up for, but we used them wrong. So yeah, well, I see on how it goes, and yeah, he pretty much just says the same thing as what I said. Brett Kenny, he pretty much just said he's really good. And try to get him team to the finals as what I said. So yeah, next season and another the year after when Luai's gone. Most will turn 33 shortly before Luai leaves the club. Making any fears having so many halves partners will affect the Eels captain while he's in the prime of his career. Yeah, well, it's also going to like affect him having these high expectations once again. But I'm just hoping that Mitchell Moses won't be the captain next year. But if he will, oh boy, buck up people because it's going to be a one bumpy ass road next season if Mitchell Moses is going to be the captain. So yeah, the person I worry about is Mitchell Moses. You just wonder how it's going to affect him. Yes, with the captaincy, as we all know, he's had in the past couple of years. That's true. Also, the fact we, Kenny and Sterling played together for so long was a big reason why we had that successful premiership because they had that cohesion, successful combination rate. And he was going pretty good with that with Dylan Brown. But once again, that was Dylan Brown's decision to leave because our club's culture and the two clowns who are running this franchise do not know how to build a structural cohesion and a great cultural team. And as I said before, and I'm going to say this one more time, I am worried that our previous mistakes by starting this rebuild at a crap time might come back and bite this club's ass pretty uglily big. And I think a lot of fans, as much as we want to have faith in our players, which is very good, and that we want to show up to our games and spend our money to at least pray that we can win and that we can at least get to the finals, is not going to happen at all. So if Moses is going to be the captain, and if Luai isn't committed, which I'm saying that look, we don't know yet, which I'm saying that this is like still could be a good deal, but at the same time, it was the only risk that we have at the moment because this club has made so many mistakes that they had to at least pray to the footy gods for at least something good for these two owners to be able to keep the job without spending overs because they are complete pussies that they don't have the balls to play overs for players like Keon Kilamatangi and many other players that I could just mention here and that we all know. So, yeah, I think that should be it for the men's team. I think I've been rambling on for at least the same amount as what I did from our last episode, but this has this has to be said. And to be honest, people, like this will be the last ever time that I will be like mentioning our main obvious problems because I'm just sick and tired of having this repetition on every single episode saying that Moses is the captain, this and that. You know, like I'm pretty sure every single fan does not need to be babied or needs to be told like 1 million times that there are obvious problems at this club. So this will be the last of the time, and I will promise people in the next episode, episode 50, which it will be a special one. That's I will be not talking about these obvious issues because I'm pretty sure every single Paramount podcasts out there absolutely just sick tired of just talking about these obvious issues, and this is why like I don't even go on to Instagram like that much anymore because I can't be bothered, and it's just getting so obviously boring that these obvious problems just keep on coming out from many promo podcasters who know the insides, which I won't mention them, but good on for those promo podcasters out there who are exposing these absolute clowns who are just stuffing up our ideal plan that should have gone right, but maybe that we don't know that the timing of this plan for this rebuild in the first place was at a crap time. So yeah, make it on what you make people, but that's my take there, like on the obvious problems for the last of time. So yeah, you won't see me like mention this at all once again on social media and obviously on the podcast itself because I am just absolutely just bored to death that I have to say it's like 1,000 times, people. But anyways, people, I will be going into the NRLW team, and boy, I don't want to spend on this too long since I've been rambling on just a little bit too long. Well, I've been rambling on like way too long on the men's part. Let's get into the NRLW side with their problems going at the moment. All right, so just give me a sec, people. All right, so this is our NRLW team here, people. Now, Abby Church, Zali Faye, Rory Owen coming back in, Lindsay 2, Fleur again, which her shift rotation wasn't the best idea going against the Newcastle Knights from last week. And that obviously just was our main weakness, just shifting over with who was it, with Ginn, just linking up there with Mafia Matelli, who was out. And that she will be out up until oh sorry, no, I haven't really shared the screen here. Damn it. Hang on a sec, people. Here it is. Yes, that's the team list as I'm talking about. So Mafia Matelli is out, and she will be out to be confirmed, along with Rachel Pearson. Lane Morgan has been named on the extended bench here at number 19. Hopefully, she will be able to make a debut. As we all know, that Kelly Joseph has been killing it there, both defensively and also attacking wise. And I thought that she was our top three best players performing against the Newcastle Knights forward pack, along with Alicia Albert. he was just steamrolling over the Newcastle Knights forward pack, and she scored that amazing, strong try where she just broke so many tackles and yeah, just went over. And yeah, like, well, I know that our young players are still learning, and it is kind of like a similar a rebuilding stage to how our men's are going at the moment with Tanika Todd Hunter coming in, playing who has had played her 50th match last week against Newcastle Knights, which I didn't really get to see much of her, but she has been going good lately. So yeah, Ruby Jerrington, I didn't really get to see her once again since the men's game on when the second half was going on, that I couldn't really watch the second half while the Eels and Tigers game was going on. So I can't really have too much of a say from our bench players. But hopefully that some of our players like Lane Morgan can be a late addition, as I haven't had any time to really watch the Harvey Norman's New South Wales Women's Premiership people, because I've been really busy with TAFE and with personal issues, just going outside of the podcast. So I do apologize if I haven't really analysed from some of the matches, but I will try maybe if things do somehow like calm down just a little much more. Hopefully, I do need to sort it out. Hopefully, I can be able to analyze much better um, performances from our second grade for our women's side. But at the moment, it is a little bit too much, and yeah, um, yeah. Look, Keisa Tohiku coming back in with Jade Hurligan. Look, I won't really say too much of her. I don't think that she wasn't like really involved in the game that much, since it was just mostly just us just trying to at least stop the Knights backline players, which it's going to be very tough. But since, let's say, Tui had a very good and decent performance, having 21 tackles and only missed about like two or three tackles. She has come up against the Sydney Roosters captain Isabella Kelly, which it's going to be a very tough matchup, since she has more strength and more muscle than what Lindsay Tui has. I mean, Tui is a very strong centre, but we shall see on how Tui is going to shut down with Kelly trying to uh, pass it out there to Jermaine Freshard, and yeah, Fleur again. I think if this doesn't work for her, and if she keeps on conceding tries, then I really have some big concerns about Fleur again. Like, do we just drop her into uh, second grade for a long period of a time? And yeah, like, I feel like that if she doesn't perform in this match, then I reckon that we need to drop her. And another question is from Steve Georgalis: how come, mate, you have still managed to re-sign all three or four of our players, and I believe bloody two, I know three of them, which is including Roy Owen, Flo Ginn, and bloody Kiana Takarani. Like, why aren't you starting Kiana Takarani? Like, Kiana Takarani has been very good for us, like last season, and yet you can't even like start her. Like, has she not been like starting well? Is she coming back from a injury? I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with the injury rumors from our women's side. So yeah, I don't know why Kiana Takarani is not starting, but in my opinion, I feel like if Fleur again doesn't go perform actually well, and she still concedes so many tries to how she has been doing in the first couple of her rounds, I believe that Kiana Takarangi needs to replace her ASAP. So that's my that's my late change. if I was the coach, maybe. Or sorry, no. Well, that's some more of the changes that I would do. So yeah. Anything else that I need to add on? No. Let's quickly go into the tips here. Well, all right. So I think for us to win this game, we are obviously playing this round obviously for our captain Mihalia Murphy and for Kelly Joseph, the two Indigenous players, which hopefully we can be able to see them link up because they will be going up against Oliver Koenig and with Jasmine Strange. And we are coming up against Jasmine's father, who is coaching this team. And it's going to be a very tough challenge because last year there were a couple of controversial calls going against us when playing them at home. And playing them at a Gosford, which I think the last time that we played at Gosford, I think we did actually win. I think the last time that we played at Gosford was in 2022, I believe. Yeah, I think it was in 2022. I could be wrong. Let's see. All right, so 2022. Wait, what's 2022? I just don't know about. Okay. All right. Yeah, 2022 grand final. Yeah, that was at Gosford where we are. I think this was the last ever match, and we actually won against the Broncos. Just with all just doubts just going against us, and that was the exact same final series where we actually beating the Sydney Roosters at Suncorp Stadium, and yeah, like all of the odds were going against us in round five, and yeah, we managed to beat them. Yeah, Gosford. All right, do we play Gosford in 2023? Let's see. Gosford total work that is. Yes, okay. So the last ever time I think we played at Gosford, I think it might have been 2023. We actually played the Sydney Roosters, and we actually got our smashed there. So I take it back. But yeah, I think that was the last ever time. I could be wrong. I haven't really studied for this head to head, so apologies for that, people. 2025, 2025, 2025. No. So the last ever time that we actually played against the Sydney Roosters at Gosford was in 2023 when we got smashed. So yeah, not very good, especially with our defense. Just well, I mean, we should have still won against the Warriors in round four, and then pretty much just went back up to then conceding more than 20 points. So, man, if we don't win this, then our season is uh is over because look, I do see us beating the Bulldogs, the Sharks could be a winnable game. The Broncos, which they have been a bit, which they have been a bit vulnerable at times against the Bulldogs, even though they are only conceded 4 points. If we actually click with our form, like winning against the Sharks and that, I don't know, but I feel like if we actually lose this match, then it's just going to be us like just having that late winning streak, that late winning streak run to how we were doing it like last season in 2025. And I just feel like that we're just going to rely on other teams just with points differential to how we were relying on the Canberra Raiders to beat the Goggles Titans, where the Raiders were going absolutely just gobsmack last season, and they go in the wood and they go in the wooden spoon. But if we actually don't win this game, or nor do we actually compete in this game, then I might actually have a high fear that we might actually not play finals footy in the fourth year in a row, which is very disappointing. To be honest, like we have the best Tasha Gale team and the best Lisa Fiola team. Like in the rugby league women's pathway system rankings at the moment, and yet we can't even compete at the moment. Like nowhere near to how the Newcastle Knights were just bagging tries like in our back line. So hopefully that some of these younger players, since I have seen from me Harley Murphy saying that it really has a it really has hurt hurting us. Sorry, that it's starting to get to a point where it's feeling very painful that we are just sick and tired of just losing football matches. But I just really hope that they can take the pain and that they can really just compete against this high experience and skillful and strong Sydney Roosters side with a great coach. And we are being paid $26 to beat the Sydney Roosters. Like that is a absolute bargain. If we actually put our heads in the game, and you know what, people, um, look, as much as I don't see us coming close against the Sydney Roosters, uh, I'm only going to do this once. I'm going to go bold, and I'm going to say that we are going to win this by 2 points. And I'm going to say that we will win this by 20 points to 18. Yep, I'm going to say first try scorer. I'm going to say first try scorer. It's going to be Zali Faye, my anytime try scorer. I'm going to say it's going to be Elise Albert, and my man of the match, it's going to be Kelly Joseph, playing in the Indigenous jersey, and hopefully with the defense, we can be able to hold out the Sydney Roosters for even causing a for even putting a heartbreaker through us, and just preventing that late scare, just to really keep us winless for this season. So yeah, that's my tips there for this match, and that will be it here for another long episode of the Blue Garment Podcast. If you have enjoyed this episode, I think we are up to episode. I'm pretty sure we are up to episode 49. I'm pretty sure. I'll check right now. Yes, we're up to episode 49. And yeah, people, just make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also give us some feedback to be able to improve on the podcast itself, since we are still brand new with 35 subscribers. And follow us on our socials on both Instagram and also on TikTok, and also give us a listen on both Spotify and obviously on Apple Podcasts. And as of always, go Para.